Chase by Dallas, make it hurt.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Commercial Real Estate Investing, the Black Community Edition. I'm your humble host, Dominic Green, managing partner of the Temple Commercial Real Estate Services in the DFW area. Mike can't see, I'm currently in the DFW right now. Actually on vacation a little bit. I'm here in Fort Lauderdale. That's the beach. See the trees. Ocean Boulevard. Getting a little morning workout in. But even with that being said, it's still about real estate, right? No matter where you go. So, So, like I said, even though I'm on vacation, it's still about commercial real estate, right? There's still opportunities to learn, take a week of learning and applying, right? So, this is the house here. Those are hotels in the background. Here's the beach, all right? So, one of the first things I did, and it just comes to happen, right? When it comes about doing due diligence, if you're considering investing in a different city other than your own, it's still important to have boots on the ground and don't just read what the offer of memorandum say, but sometimes what the brokers are telling you. Sometimes you just got to get first-hand knowledge, right? So one of the things that I do, speak to the locals, ask them about their experience. They lived here for years. They can tell you the ins and outs of everything, right? And one thing in particular, especially when we're talking about if you're going to invest in some type of hotel, beach town, retail in a beach town, in a sense. You want to get an idea of what the demographics are, incomes, people's spending habits, right? So one of the first things you notice, and I noticed, I picked up on, is that a lot of places close early, starting on, it seems like on Monday, all the way up to Wednesday. And then Thursday through the weekend is when they're open up longer. So it tells you kind of the consumer spending habits. You talk to the guys in the local bars, they tell you on the long-term spending habit of consumerism in the area, where if you didn't know it, they wouldn't tell you on the offer memorandum. But speaking to the local area, he tells you that they get a lot of their majority of their big business, even prior to COVID, during the winter times. And it's just because of the weather, right? So during the winter time, they have a huge influx of tourism, of people coming here because of the warm weather. And during the summer, not so much so, right? Again, that's something you wouldn't know from reading the OM. Maybe you got it on a blog, but it's supposed to have boots on the ground and actually being there in person, all right? Another thing is you'll see, as far as like when people are charging prices and stuff like that, things are a little bit more expensive, okay? And then you can talk to the staff. They tell you again what things they're struggling with. Employees, so that seems like that's everywhere. Housing, it seems like that's everywhere. So it pays to do your due diligence, not only on paper, but also in person. All right? And I'm in an area that's totally different, right? So, for me, definitely thinking about doing a hotel, right?
I don't know. I was starting to. I've heard about a lot that students try to get different things.
You know what I mean? Looking at doing a hotel, that's something I would need to know. The hotel that we're staying at the recent grand opening, you look around where they're located at, they're not on the main strip. It's a new construction, so they're a little bit further down, more closer to residential, but still close to enough to where other amenities are. The beach is not too far, so you still get some elements and benefits if you know a little bit further from where the main action is in the area, which is on Los Osos Boulevard. That's where all your bars are. That's where all the Marriott's are. So again, if you're looking to get into the hotel business, that's something, especially if you want to know, like the student handlers, people come here. The staffing, tell a lot about how employees are treated, what type of employees that you have, the work ethic, just by being at the different hotels. They pride themselves on the customer experience. Even if something isn't right, will they be willing to take care of it? And that tells a lot about the brand if you look to get into one of the franchises. Or if you so happen to want to do your own boutique, you do that as well. Now from a multi-family standpoint, I'm not too sure yet, because again, where we're located at, it's mostly hotels, it's mostly homes. Retail, a lot of the properties are Airbnbs, so that's one of your strategies. It seems like that definitely works here. Especially a lot of these properties are here on the oceanfront, so the people that own them probably only use them very so often, and most of the time they're rented. But you do see some of the hotels are getting remodeling jobs, so you only invest in stuff that you know that you get a return on. So that's also a good sign as well. Now when you come here, you go, I always say, especially when I help clients with their retail, you gotta go to the location that you're interested in multiple times. You know what I mean by that is you gotta go during the day, during the evening, on weekends, and during mid part of the week, all right? To figure out, especially when you're trying to forecast your budget, revenue, that's gonna be very important to do, all right? Same thing here, all right? When you're investing, you're making an investment in the community, because all real estate is local. So it's important to understand the local economy, what the expectations are, what the risks are. And again, beach, hotel. It's a hotel I've never even heard of, right? But when they sell it, they say, hey, you get immediate access to the beach, balconies, and we're right here, Park Tower. Probably independently owned, right? And then also, when you're down trying to invest in areas that's outside your normal, I said not only is it important to talk to the locals, it's also important to talk to the workers, and also important to talk to the police. Go figure, right? Because police will give you insight on where they're getting the most calls at, what the expectation is in certain areas, and especially if you talk to someone that has, 20-something years on a job. I mean, they can let you in on everything. So that's one thing I picked up here, and just in a brief conversation, not being afraid to talk to anybody. End up speaking to a police officer, striking up a conversation. Next thing you know, starting to get a little bit more ins and outs on areas that, could be an issue. On areas that could be an issue, right? So it's definitely an important thing to do as far as due diligence. Getting on the ground, talking with the locals, spending a couple of days there, buying, going to places, so you can make the best decision. At the end of the day, it's about making the best decision, best informed decision, in which you're going to be putting not only your capital, but your investors' capital that they work so hard for, and they're entrusting into you to get, just do the things that you say you're going to do, the promise that you're going to do. Keep the capital safe, preserve it, but also grow it, provide them a return on the real property that's going to provide cash flow for years to come, right? So doing everything in your power to get as much information, to make the best decision, to reduce risk. How can you de-risk the situation, especially if it's somewhere that you're not necessarily familiar with, it's outside your area because for a reason there's no opportunity, or the thing that you're actually after is hella expensive. You know what I mean? But like I said, no matter where you go, even on vacation, it's still commercial real estate. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be relaxing. And if you're thinking long term, and you're thinking investing, it's always on your mind, no matter where you're at. So I won't hold you guys too long. I gotta get back to doing what I do best. And until next time, happy investing. But before I go, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's keep this conversation going. Join the Facebook group. Share with somebody, tell a friend. Because again, this platform is designed for us to collaborate, to share, to be knowledgeable with one another, to share our experiences, to partner, and to collaborate. That's basically what we're going to talk about commercial real estate, stuff that isn't talked about every day, in our community. Maybe housing, as far as like buying a house, but let's talk about owning bigger things. Because people have done it before us. They've laid the blueprint for us. And even society shows you how it's actually done if you pay attention to it, right? So we can do the same thing too. Come together, put our resources, our experience, our knowledge, our networks. And we come out here and we can own commercial real estate. We can own hotels next to the beach. You know what I mean? This will be part of our portfolio, something that we pass on for generations, because as I was telling one person, one thing that hasn't changed, even with this pandemic, the psyche of us as humans, right? Even during the pandemic, people still wanted to go on vacation, especially if they had the resources, the monetary resources. They flew somewhere private, to a private hotel, or to an area, and went to the beach. Went to where it was warm. Even at the hotel I'm staying, there's tons of people. Yes, everything is open, but still, people are still out. Right? So, the mentality of us is we still want to be social creatures, even with all the Zoom stuff. People are kind of tired of that. You talk to the hotel people, the bookings for large meetings are starting to pick up. The bookings for people to get out are up from this time, I'll say last year or the year prior to COVID. So, that's kind of one of the things I think of. What are the habits? What are the trends? Is there an inelastic demand regardless of what's going on? It's one of those things or principles that holds true. It's one of those things that holds true. So again, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If you have any particular topics you want to talk about, do that as well. And again, happy investing, y'all. Until next time, until next Wednesday. Education Wednesday. Deuces.
These my dollars make it hurt.